You can come by and get your dinner after church tomorrow. What time you get out of church tomorrow? I mean, Sunday.
About noon.
You can come out, yeah, I'll be through, yeah. You can come out and get your dinner, take your dinner somewhere tomorrow. First Sunday, I'll pay for it. Yeah, I'll be out of church by 11:45.
Yeah, let's stop when we can.
Yeah. Come on, we waiting on you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you for coming out in the weather.
Of course. All right.
Have any of you seen this manual before? I'm trying not to use big words. Part of this news conference is drawn from what's in this manual. And then so you might want to take a good look at, I think the center of this thing, yes. I think this is very important that you take a look at this, because in the news conference, it talks about the color of the law, and this will give you some more insight on why we're doing and why we're saying and thinking about what we're thinking about, okay? All right. So when you're ready, I'll be ready. Good morning.
Good morning.
You got something on your head? Are y'all ready?
Ready.
My name is Pastor Gundy. I'm the chairperson for the Jacksonville Leadership Coalition and pastor of Mount Sinai Missionary Baptist Church. I want to thank you, first of all, for being here this morning for this news conference, along with those of us who are here. We have various organizations that are representative, and you're welcome to speak to them after I finish. We're here because the citizens are concerned about the conduct of the JSO officers and the sheriff. We want the sheriff and every officer that works for JSO to know we are concerned about the drillings, the killings, the murdering, the stealing, and we want it to stop. And we want to assist the JSO where we can. We also want each officer, when they leave their families, to return home safely to their families. And we realize their job is not easy, and we want to encourage the entire community to pray for all of them and cooperate with them. However, we are equally concerned with the incidents of beating citizens, slapping citizens, making citizens crawl on the ground to officers, smashing drivers' car windows in, out, disrespecting our seniors, and properly caring for citizens during a car accident. And we are asking the aggressive behavior of the JSO officers to cease and desist immediately. There appears to be a violation of citizens' civil rights under the color of law. And we want the dehumanization of citizens, regardless of age, sexual orientation, and race, to stop. We are concerned that Sheriff T.K. Waters has been hesitant or refusing to meet with members and organizations of the community when they ask an audience with him. This news conference is a direct result of Sheriff's non-availability to sit and discuss these issues face to face. Therefore, we turn to the media to seek assistance and develop a working relationship with JSO that is reconciliatory and mutual respect for citizens, clergy, and faith members. It has been said to me that the sheriff does not want to meet with ICARE, nor send a representative. We hope this is not true, and we cannot work mutually to resolve our social issues without working together. Finally, if the mistreatment of citizens will not stop, we will have to seek ways to remedy these concerns through the Justice Department and the emergence of our own Citizens Review Board. In other words, we don't have to have legislative approval to have our own Citizen Review Board. As of today, when we finish this and the rest of this month, we'll be working on putting our own Citizen Review Board together to answer who, what, when, where, how, and why, build up the record, and then turn it into various agencies, to include the Justice Department. In addition to that, we do not need this is legislative authority, but we will also ask the Human Rights Commission, the state attorney, FDLE, and the Justice Department to, and if necessary, a grand jury investigation, because we as citizens can request that. The press conference could have been avoided through a culture change at JSO and a sit-down meeting with the sheriff on the issues of crime and a willingness to listen to concerns and other recommendations. No one has all the answers, but together is better. Recommendations. We recommend that they develop a juvenile justice comprehensive strategy board with the sheriff, state attorney, mayor, chief public defender, and chief judge, who will send a representative to take a holistic approach to prevention, intervention as part of the Kid Hope Alliance, Journey, and nonprofits. We must open and staff all the recreation centers in the city, start faith athletic programs, and the sheriff should meet with us, not just listen to us, but to hear us. Thank you. You take the umbrella down. My prayers got answered. Okay, any questions?
How often do you ask the sheriff to meet and have a sit down?
I have asked the sheriff at least 4 times. The last time I saw the sheriff was at the Martin Luther King's prayer breakfast. I saw him face to face and I said, hey, we still have not met. We just need to meet and have a sit down and talk. I told him I did not want to come to the sheriff's office. You know, we can sit down and have coffee, but I wanted to sit down and just have a conversation. I did not want to bring these issues up. We do have some of the victims here of some of the things that we're talking about. We do have written statements about some of the things that we're talking about. We do have video about these things, the officers, to include where the officer tells the person once he got out of the car to crawl to him. That is unacceptable behavior. I saw the video where the gentleman simply asked the question, why am I being stopped? Next thing I know, they bust out his window on the driver's side. That is unacceptable. I have a young lady who was in a car accident, and we're still trying to find out why JSO did not relinquish authority and give it to the Florida Highway Patrolman. The Florida Highway Patrolman said, we're not going to get into a confrontation with JSO. She was bleeding profusely. They challenged her to take a breathalyzer test. She said, I don't drink. She took the test, found out that she did not drink. She went to the hospital. Then they went to the hospital and took another breathalyzer test while she was sedated and tried to talk to her. That's unacceptable. So we're trying to say we could have had this conversation. He could have talked with his officers, talked with his people, tried to change the culture without having this press conference.
So you directly asked him 4 times to have conversations?
I've called him. I don't know about the text, but I called him and I directly asked the sheriff, Sheriff, we still haven't met, let's talk. And he said, well, you can come to my office. I said, Sheriff, I don't want to come to the office. I don't want to be around your other offices. I just want you and I to sit down and have a conversation about all of this so you can see what's going on in the community. You want the community to help you, but we want you to help us.
Well, why wouldn't you go into the office?
I did not want to go to his office and be around his other officers. I wanted to have a private conversation with the sheriff about the issues. I did not want to come to JSO office. We could have sat down and had coffee, as I previously said. We could have done anything, but that's just, let's talk man to man. Let's talk pastor to sheriff. That type of environment, rather than coming here and do something for, no. Sometimes you have to sit down and talk to people and reconcile and state your problems and then see if you can come up with a solution. We wouldn't be here. That's
But you don't think that conversation could have happened in his office?
Didn't want to have the conversation in his office. Let me make that very clear. I made that very clear. Did not want to have the conversation in his office. We wanted to have a private, sit down, let's develop a relationship conversation. That's critical in any environment, in any negotiation, in any reconciliation, in any dialogue that you're trying to do with people.
And you mentioned civilian review boards. Well, you know, there was just a bill that's passing, and it's to ban civilian review
No,
boards.
that's the ban civilian review boards that's authorized by cities and all of that. We as citizens do not need legislative authority to initiate a citizen review board. Now, we may not have subpoena power, but we do have the power of the pen and the paper. We do have the power of calling people together and getting who, what, when, where, how, and why things happen, develop those issues and submit those to the Justice Department under the issue of the color of law.
Okay. And you think that's going to make a difference in what you're doing now? Like, I'm trying to understand
Yes, it would make a difference long term because we're saying if we can't sit down and talk, we have no other choice but to turn to other alternatives, to seek other ways to get remedies for what's going on.
Okay. And we've heard from the sheriff's office before, especially when it comes to the plans from iCare, and basically they say they implement a lot of iCare strategies already. So what's your response to that?
You have to talk to iCare about that. I simply said that iCare said they wanted to meet with the sheriff. The last meeting they had, the sheriff didn't show up, and he said that he was not going to come, and he did not send a representative. So you have to talk to iCare about that.
Okay.
I don't speak for them at all.
So what is the direct change that you need to see? Is it more involvement in correspondence with each other? Is that what you're asking for specifically?
I think the direct change I'm looking for is dialogue with the sheriff. The direct issues that I'm looking for with the sheriff is to not just listen to us, but hear us. What I'm really looking for from the sheriff office this time is a change in the culture. Stop dehumanizing citizens of this city by beating them and slapping them and making them crawl on the ground like they're some animals. We don't have to do that. Thank you for your questions. Those were great questions. I hope I answered them for you.
You did. Thank you.
Does anyone else want to say anything?
Is anybody else? Yeah. All right. Keep it in context.
All right, good morning. Can you say your name and I'm Joseph Maceo George.
Hey, Doc.
JOSEPH Good morning, thanks for coming out. I'm a member of Northside Coalition and Take 'em Down Jackson. In an effort to build trust and better relationship between JSO and our community, we are here this morning to request that Sheriff T.K. Waters to do a better job holding JSO officers accountable and to establish a citizen review board. As we all know, in Tallahassee, they're trying to eliminate citizen review board around the state. However, one way or another, we will have a citizen review board in Jacksonville. Also, we are here requesting that Sheriff T.K. Waters meet with iCare, community leaders, and other organizations in our city. When it comes to trust, how can we tell citizens to report crime and tell them that they will remain anonymous when an officer who was recently arrested for leaking information to criminals? There's no trust. That crime by JSO officer has set this city back 50 years when it comes to trusting JSO. Furthermore, Sheriff T.K. Waters, if you are sincere in wanting to reduce crime and to build trust in our community, meet with us. We have the answers. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question? That's okay. If you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I remember the late Ms. Fraser always talking about citizen review boards. That was years ago. And you still feel today there's still a need for it in this city.
Oh yes, yes it is. And as Reverend Gundy stated earlier, we will meet to push that review board here in this city. We don't need legislation, there's things we can do. And we're going to hold these police officers accountable. So we're definitely going to push a citizen review board.
Can you give me like some bullet points on what the civilian review board would attack, what it would do, how it would look?
Well, we'll look at the controversial confrontation with police officers. We will review it, we will request the information and see what's what.
Let me give us some context of history.
Okay, go right ahead.
Let me give you some historical, excuse me. Let me give you some historical context about Citizen Review Board. I started pushing Citizen Review Board ever since 2007. Y'all were not around. When Sheriff Rutherford was the sheriff. Went to City Council. And City Council said they were here and lied. The President of City Council just outright lied about it. But we're looking for the context of a Citizen Review Board by asking the question, why did this happen? Who did it happen to? When did it happen? Where did it happen? Now, we had citizens coming in and talking to the NAACP and had a court reporter talking about things such as JSO officers in the past were taking people over here behind what is now the stadium and beating people half to death. You still have the problem of people dying in the jail. I mean, this has been ongoing and ongoing and ongoing. So sometimes you have to say enough is enough. So the context of the Citizen Review Board is we will ask the citizens to come and tell us what happened to you, how it happened, and then we will put it together, and then we will send it to the appropriate place to ask it to be investigated, whether it's the Human Rights Commission, whether it's the state attorney, whether it's to the state, whether it's to the Justice Department. My goal now at this point in time is to continue to seek assistance from the Justice Department out of Tampa, U.S. Attorney's Office. Because if they don't want to listen to us, they got to listen to somebody. So I think at this point in time, if things continue going down this road, they need to come in and take a good look at what JSO is doing. Now, they can see it on the news, they can see it in the newspaper, but we need citizens to say this is what is happening because they are eyewitnesses of what happened to them in their lives. So we're going to put that date, we're going to put all that together and submit it. I mean, we're not waiting. We don't need no governor. We don't need no mayor. We don't need anybody to tell us about having a citizen review board about what's happening in our community. We just don't need it. I hope that answers your question.
It does.
All right.
Thank you.
Do you give the sheriff any credit for the arrest? I mean, he made multiple arrests of officers last year for things like DUI, this most recent arrest with the officer who was reportedly giving information to criminals. Do you give him any credit for?
Absolutely. We said in the thing that we want them to do their jobs. We appreciate what they're doing. We're just trying to develop a dialogue to get more things done. I don't quote too many people too many often that was, but President of the United States, no, it said trust but verify. Ronald Reagan said that one, but it also said Bush. I don't know whether y'all were around then or not, but he said we need to have a decent, gentler, and kinder nation. We need to have a gentler, a decent, and kinder police force. Because you can get more by being kind. You can be more by being open and dialogue than you can by just saying you don't like what I said, so you slap me. Or you don't like what I said, and you make me crawl on the ground and dehumanize me. So I give the sheriff all the credit about what he's done. Sheriff Rutherford, Sheriff Williams, this sheriff has never wanted to have anybody to look at the conduct of their police officers. They always wanted to handle the conduct themselves. But it still would speak volumes to them if they would have an independent law enforcement agency to look at the issues that they're doing and the things they're committing in this city. It just makes sense. So if you keep doing it, that's fine. So he gets credit for what he's done, but more can be done to change the culture. This is a culture, and he may not be aware of what's going on under him, but it is bad out here in this community, and I'm afraid of this. I do not want these young people to say, I had enough, I had enough. We've been through that. Then they start fighting back.
Yep.
We want police officers to go home to their families. We want the sheriff to just, hey, let's talk. Let's do something other than what we're doing. That's all. Does that answer your question? Great.
Do you feel like this open dialogue will also help with just the crime rate in the city too, finding solutions?
Absolutely. They used to have a juvenile justice comprehensive strategy board, and I'll give you some amazing statistics. We served 300 juveniles, 300 kids who came out of jail, out of gotten in trouble. We had less than 1% recidivism, because you have to address both mental health, and you have to address emotional health, and you have to address spiritual health. We put those together, and we got those numbers. Nobody in the history of the state has ever been able to do that, but we did that right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Those are the type of things. Let's sit down. Let us show you what we've done in the past, and fund the people that can do the work. Stop doing what you're doing, and you can get some results. All right? Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank everybody who's been here. We will, if you need to talk to the victims on the side, some of them are here. You're welcome to do that. we are. I'm through, okay, and then we will go from there, okay. All right. So any questions, comments, and then you can talk to everybody on this topic.
Good morning or good afternoon. I'm sorry, Tracy, get the mic again.
Is this in reference to what we're talking about? Huh? Okay, great.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Oh, sorry.
No, you were all good. I'm just gonna put this here and then this in here.
Good morning. My name is Shirley Reed with Mothers Crying for Justice. And what we want from this conference is we want everyone to arrive home or back to their destination alive. We've been asking for a citizen review board, as Pastor Gundy said, when it was in 2007, but we came at our roundtable in 2016. And we also asked for that review board. It was a must then. It is a must today. The citizens of Jacksonville need that review board. If we cannot get it through legislative means, then we are ready to come together and put together our own review board. During that time when we asked for the citizen review board, it was discussed then that if the sheriff would not be transparent and that we would vote, we would come together collectively and we would vote to have the sheriff office changed into the chief of police. Therefore, it would guarantee the citizens of Jacksonville the rights to have transparency and accountability from the sheriff office. So this is what we want. As I said, we want the officers to arrive home alive, back to their families, but we also want our citizens to arrive alive back home to their families. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Great. I forgot about that part. You're right.
Hi, my name is Rachel Dews, and my husband is currently in county jail right now. I only really have one quote, and that's what I heard last night, because I know there are definitely some disparities that's going on within the chain of command within JSO, but we also have to remember that it extends also into the courtrooms, because it's things being allowed to happen. The quote I heard last night was, when you destroy someone's life with lies, take it as a loan. It will come back to you with interest. The outside looks grand, but the inside is a mess. And that's what we're trying to stop with JSO right now today. That's all I have to say.
I want you to hear the story of one of the victims. Always want the victim. Come here. And it was tough for her to do this. Hear this.
Just clip it on your purse.
Good morning. My name is Emma Jean King. On December 3rd, I was driving to my cousin's house. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. A car swerved into my lane, and it caused me to hit the median on 10. Somebody found me on the side of the road, passed out. My leg was gashed open from the bottom of my knee to the middle of my thigh down to the bone. I was bleeding out. And then the only thing I could think about is calling my mom. When I called my mom, it was my auntie. sheriff's office pulled up, and
Take your time.
take it back.
Take your time. Take your time.
They were yelling, and they were accusing me of drinking. They said that I needed to take a breathalyzer test. My mom, which is my auntie, she's right there. She was trying to get to me, and they told her no. It was other civilians over there with me, and all I wanted was her. They wouldn't let me get into the ambulance, and the EMTs was trying to tell me that I needed to go because I could bleed out of how much blood was on me. My head went through the windshield. I still have a mark, but it's healing. I had cuts everywhere. My ankle was messed up. They still held me up. They said that they had to do a breathalyzer test on me before I could get into the ambulance. And I was like, why do I have to take a breathalyzer test? I didn't do anything wrong. I don't drink. So he did the breathalyzer test on me, and it came back negative. I wasn't drinking, and then he accused me of being on drugs. And I said, I don't do drugs. So the EMTs kept saying, hey, we got to take her now, and she's going to bleed out. They finally let me get into the ambulance. When I got into the ambulance, it took me a long time to get to the hospital because they were trying to get me stable. They didn't know if I was going to make it. When I got to the hospital, they thought they was going to have to amputate my leg because it took me so long to get there. They ended up saying that I saved my own leg by wrapping a towel around it. They didn't understand how I knew to do that, but I guess because I watched TV.
Yeah.
So I tied my own leg up to try to stop some of the bleeding. They didn't know if I was going to make it to the next morning. While I was in the hospital, the sheriff's office came back and they did another breathalyzer test on me while I was totally out of it. And they questioned me, don't even remember that. The only reason why I know is because a nurse told me what happened. They said that, do you remember the sheriff's office coming in here? They did a breathalyzer test and they talked to you. And I don't even recall that. They didn't get any of the lady's information on the scene. She was saying that she was so sorry. She didn't mean to hit me. And all they did was focus on me. It's no police report. It's not anything. It's no breaker. Only thing is a crash report with one car. I felt like a criminal, like I did something wrong. And when I hear people yelling, I kind of freak out because
It's all right.
I never thought that I'd go through something like that. I don't really like to talk about it because it kind of breaks me down. But I just feel like that I was a victim and not a criminal in that situation, and I should have been treated better. If I don't have a record, I've never done anything. And that just hurts me. So it's really bad. But
Y'all needed to hear that.
I know.
Do you
That's
mind
just
if
one
I-
of many.
Do you mind if I ask you, and I'm so sorry for what you had to experience there. Do you mind if I ask you, from everything that was said here today, with the plan to talk to JSO, to talk with the sheriff, do you think that would have helped if that was in place before what happened to you? Do you think this could really make a difference so this could never happen to anyone else?
yes, I think that it'll take their protection down, where they think that they can do anything to us and not have any consequences because we're looking at what you do to us. You got to report. Everybody's going to say something, and you can't get away with it.
So what did you do afterwards? Because if there's no report, I mean, unfortunately, it's kind of like how would anyone believe you unless you speak up and say what you're doing right now?
My auntie, she called the sheriff's office. She talked to their superior to report that to them, and they said that he was in his rights.
Do you know the officers who were doing this to you?
I'm not sure of the name of them. It's no report.
Not on a crash report, but y'all can do that. Y'all can find out. You know, that's why we wanted you to hear this. I'm telling you, there's more stories
Would you
that you don't know about.
would you like those officers to be held accountable in some way?
Yes, I would like them to be held accountable because you can't just do that to people. You're damaging them, their future, on how they respond to stuff, what they go through. They just got to do better.
And you were being told to get in the ambulance because you had these injuries, and they were delaying. Are you saying they were delaying?
They were landing, they wasn't letting me in. I was in the hospital from December 3rd to the 21st.
Do you know the results of the breathalyzer?
It was negative.
All of them were negative, both kinds. They shouldn't have taken the second breathalyzer,
Yeah.
but they could have taken the breathalyzer when they got to the hospital, not but put her in the ambulance and get her to the hospital, and then let the people, the doctors and the nurse said they shouldn't have been talking to her because she was sedated.
Yeah.
But they did it anyway, and they took the breathalyzer. And the Florida Highway Patrolman showed up. They would not turn the case over to them. And the lady who hit her, there's no record of her. So I mean, I got to be honest. You know, people lie, right? JSO lied too.
Yeah.
Okay, so this should have not happened to her. That's dehumanizing. And that's what we're talking about. That's why we're here. We didn't have to be here. We were trying to talk to him before we got to this point. And like I said, we got others. I got written reports of how they miss people. I mean, it's just bad. Thank you. Appreciate you. Love y'all, okay? Great job. Great job.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you mind spelling
Yeah,
your
can you
name?
spell your name?
It's E as in Echo, M as in Mary, O as in Oscar, G as in Gary, E as in Echo, N as in Nancy, E as in Echo. And last name is King, K-I-N-G,
Your age?
30.
I'm sorry. So can you spell your first name again? I got
It's
it.
E,
Yes.
M, O, G, E, N, E,
Your last name is
I-N-G, King.
And this happened on December 4th, right? And you were in hospital.
Bless y'all. Thank you.
Yeah.
My faith says, he would tell you, I say, you know, who was it that asked God to shut up the heavens? Elijah. So I pray, Lord, please shut up the heavens so we can make this happen. That's just my faith. Y'all have a good day.
All right.
We all.
R-E-E-D, Reed.
Thank y'all so much.
Yeah,
I hope that helps.
Yeah. Good information to get out to the city. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going.